Oh, hello, my gays, my theys, my straights, my matriarchs, my patriarchs. Welcome to another episode of the Millennial Matriarch. I am your host, Alexis, and I'm joined by my beautiful, lovely, sexy, early Christmas host and co-host, ATD!
Hey, good to be here.
Well, I do have to say, so obviously we are in the cheery time, the time of Mary, the holiday season. So we thought today we would talk about the holidays, but I have to say the timing is quite perfect because you just came off of early Christmas.
Early Christmas, Fixmas, fake Christmas,
Yes.
whatever you want.
Or are we French? Foma. Like it's
Right.
like foma.
Faux Noël.
Oh, I like that. Faux Noel. Episode name, Faux Noel.
Bookmark this.
So, okay, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Ashlie has been married for a year. And I want to know, was this the first joint holiday you did with your husband's family and yours?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've spent holidays with his family, vice versa. We both have blended families on our own, right? Like our parents aren't together, so we've got step parents. So there's quite a few sort of households to hit. Not to mention like all of our siblings are now adults too, so there's just like a lot going on.
Wait, how many people were in this house?
It was only 10. I realize 10 is a lot, but it wasn't like we were in the 20s or something like that. Everyone had such a good time at the wedding that they were like, okay, we can do a joint. We can do a
You're like,
joint.
this is a great test run. We had our own tables, but let's come to one table together.
Yeah, everyone got along great. So they were like, yeah, let's do Fixmas together for Christmas.
So you know what I didn't realize? So I obviously knew that you were doing this. It never dawned on me until just now, one, that your husband had siblings. Like I knew it, but it didn't dawn on me that like I knew that your siblings were
Yeah.
coming and
Yeah.
his parents were coming. But I was like, oh wait, so your siblings also,
Honestly,
wow.
was the best part.
Was it?
So he has 2 brothers. I have a younger brother and sister. We are the oldest in our like insular families. So, we kind of share that. But our younger siblings, my younger siblings are like much younger than me. His are just a few years younger than him. And then one of his brothers is recently engaged, like as of like recently. I'm not going to blow up their
Oh,
spot and give away too
okay.
much of their details,
Well,
but they're
congratulations.
yeah, so that was fun too. It was like another thing to celebrate while we were there, but honestly, one of the best parts was like the first night, all of the siblings were sitting together playing a game together and like all the parents had sort of like gone to bed, and it was really nice, especially for my little brother because he's the youngest with 2 older sisters.
Right.
And now he's like inherited like 3 brothers. And my sister and I look at each other at one point, we're like, who would have thought we would have become like outnumbered? Like luckily now there's like another sister-in-law coming into the mix. So it's 3 against 4, but we're still outnumbered. We're like, when did this happen? So that was actually a really, really unexpected moment, was like, oh my God, we like all have playmates now.
Wait, I love that. So you
Yeah.
were one of 3. Big Daddy G is one of
3.
3.
Yeah.
Oh,
And listen, there's obviously blended families, right? So we've got halves, we've got step sibling. I have some older half sibling. I've never lived with them. That's how much older they are than me. But technically, yes, in these sort of like insular who we grew up with families, we are the oldest, and then we have 2 youngers below us. So yeah, we did Faux Christmas because with a family like that, and I'm sure you get this, it's hard to nail down I always forget if Christmas is the 26th or 25th.
it's the 25th.
So Christmas Eve is the 24th. I'm the worst. I'm always like, is it 25, 26 or 24,
It's
25?
okay because it's the time where days don't matter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And to that point, it doesn't matter. So actually the actual day is not as important to us as like just the celebration itself. Like you don't all need to be together on December 24th into the 25th. Like it's okay. So with that in mind, and given the fact that it's hard to travel, we all live all over the country. Like, it's really hard to get a group like that together. That's we came up with the idea to just do something in between Christmas and Thanksgiving that just worked for everyone. And we planned this like we picked these dates like a year ago, and then we actually started planning it like a few months ago. But yeah,
Also, not to mention, especially because, like, you live away from your family, he lives away
yeah,
from his, like, everybody had to travel, and to not travel during that time of year that's, like,
thank
such a
God.
it's like you're saving a lot of money. You're probably saving a lot of money on prescription meds, a la the Zolofts and the Xanaxes, because
Amen.
let me tell you, I've always said this, if I ever snap and stab somebody, it's going to be because you were an idiot on public transportation or, like, in that kind of circumstance.
Yeah,
And
I think I might
yeah,
have seen a TikTok of yours around the subject, and I think I reposted it, not just because you're my friend, but because I could not agree more. Like, what happens to people
it's
when
because
they walk
it's people that don't travel, because let me tell you, when my favorite thing is the Boston to Jersey flight, because it's a commuter flight, which
right.
means that most people on that plane, they fucking know what they're doing, the bags are up, the things, like, it's quick. It's these long haul flights,
Yeah.
like,
And think about it, people that don't usually fly are usually flying around the holidays because that's the one time a year that they're going to see family or possibly, deciding to get on a flight for the first time. So, there's a little empathy there, but for the most part, it's like, come on, guys. Like, haven't we watched enough movies?
well, actually, I did watch a really good, put a pin in it. I did watch a really cute holiday movie. It wasn't cute. It's a thriller about the airport. Hold on, we'll get there. I will say
I
this,
wonder if we've seen the same thing. I'll put a pin in that. We can
Jason
chat
Sudeikis.
about it later.
The Jason
What?
Sudeikis? Is it Jason Sudeikis?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we'll get to it.
Love.
So, it was very good. So, I will say this, no matter how I don't care what time of year it is, I am always empathetic and patient and kind towards the elderly and mothers and people with young children.
Absolutely.
Always, 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 they are never my problem. Because a lot of times those people also get to the airport with ample amount of time because they know that, like, their situation is a little more difficult than maybe the average single solo traveler.
Know thyself.
It's the people that aren't self-aware that come out during holiday travel. And also, I have to say this, if you're a nervous traveler, flyer specifically, pick any other time to travel. Like, do not pick the time when it's like TSA stressed out. There's a lot of people in the airport. The restaurants, the bars, the lounges, everything is packed. Like, I need you to go somewhere go to Idaho on go to Idaho like the Tuesday before Lent, and just, like, that's the trip to test it on.
If you have a means, do a little practice flight. Do a little commuter.
Like our practice commute to our first jobs. Do a little practice flight.
Yeah, just do a little, if you have the means, do it. Give it a go. This is not the time because, to your point, like, everyone's already stressed. Tensions are high emotionally. Imagine
Emotionally.
you put the you take too long on the TSA line. The guy behind you, Jerry, who's been fighting with his wife all morning because he doesn't want to go see his mother-in-law in Baton Rouge. He's gonna snap. You don't know who you're gonna run into.
Wait, that's actually a perfect segue to the Jason Sudeikis movie. What's it called? So this movie came out
Can't tell
last
you.
year. Okay, we're gonna Google it. You're gonna Google it while I explain it. So this movie came out last year on Netflix because I just watched it. It's Jason Sudeikis is the villain, and I think it's not called The Layover. Is it called The Layover or The Carryover? I can't remember the name of the movie for, like, the life of me. But it's centered around TSA agents on Christmas
It's
Eve.
called Carry On,
I was
as
close,
in luggage.
as in luggage. But you know what I really need to know, and I have traveled a lot, the way that they be hitting that stop belt button, does that happen in real airports? Like, I felt like that, so I just watched this movie, so
Never seen that happen, ever.
right. I felt like throughout the entire movie, they kept stopping the belts on, like, when, like, the luggage would go through that big scanner,
Mhm.
and I'm just, like, don't. Oh, I will tell you this. This is funny.
I
So when
shouldn't say it's never happened. It doesn't happen that frequently.
well, that's the thing is they were stopping it like all the time, and I was like, could you imagine? Like nobody would ever make a flight.
Yeah, it'd be a
But
hot
I
mess.
will say this. I am a carry-on girly because I don't trust people. I don't trust bags to get where they're supposed to in 2025.
Mhm.
And when I flew back from Thanksgiving, my aunt had given a few of us like these little small Christmas candles. I flew out and I literally texted like the family group chat and I was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry. The candle got me like pulled out of line. Like they probably thought it was a bomb."
Okay,
My
so they didn't
aunt
take it.
no, they didn't take it. Then my aunt flew out that night. Her bag got pulled aside. It was the
Mm.
candle. No, they didn't take it. They just like I think because of the shape,
Yeah,
because it was a small candle.
was sus.
Well, you know what I think it is? Because I've traveled with because I don't like to check a bag. If I go shopping or if I have something breakable, like I'll wrap it. And I'm sure to that scanner, it looks like a bulky thing is being like something small is being hidden by
What
something
are they
bulky.
hiding? What is she hiding?
Right. But they didn't delay me. They were great. Shout out to SLC. Those Mormons know how to get an airport running.
We could probably do a full episode on, like, travel isms
Travel etiquette.
because not to sound arrogant, but I think we're both well-traveled.
We
At the
are.
very least, we've been in a lot of airports, even if it's just for domestic quick travel.
Literally, I could go on, and I'm also gonna say one last thing before we transition out of airports, and that is on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, when Lisa Barlow makes fun of people sitting in row 30, I can't sit in row 30, I get a lot of anxiety. I can't sit on the back of the plane.
Oh.
I'm a comfort plus and forward kind of gal.
Oh. Oh! Like, on the reg?
Oh, let me tell you,
Wow.
if I don't unless it's like a hopper flight, like if I'm flying to Jersey or New York or something,
Yeah.
literally when my husband and I flew to Quebec, for our mini moon, the flight from we had a layover in Montreal, so, like, Montreal to Quebec is, like, nothing.
Mm.
We were on a small plane, we were in, like, the back of the plane, and I don't know, I can't breathe. I don't know what it is, like, I can't be back there.
Yeah. There's a lot going on back there. You usually can't put your seat backwards, because 'cause
That's
you're
not the
against.
part that bothers me, air. I don't know what the air back there is different. I
Yeah,
like that first class air. I want that
I'm
first
sure you do.
class.
I'm sure you do. Jeez. I'm the type of person who, I'll book my economy seat, and then in the days leading up, I'll log into the app and just see if there are any, like, discounted upgrades.
Duh. Yeah.
And there are certain airlines that are really good about that, like, you could upgrade to, like, first class for, like, $90 sometimes, which I know $90 for some people is a lot, but $90 compared to what those tickets
No,
actually
not what they would've
cost
retailed
is
cost.
nothing. I'm more prone to do it on the way home because 'cause I'm, like, I'm usually
Yes,
coming from a trip, I'm
yes.
tired,
Annoyed.
knackered, as the British say. And
Method.
am just like, I usually don't wanna go home because 'cause I'm usually just come from having fun, so I'm already miserable, I'm dirty, I haven't showered, I'm probably hungover. So, I am more likely to take the discounted upgrade on the return flight, so at least I can go comfortably.
You know,
But that's just me.
I support it, I support it. But I do wanna ask you one question, and we're not gonna spend this entire, episode talking about your FOMOS, but I do need to know, because what you all don't know about ATD is that she is very crafty, very creative, you are an excellent hostess. The gift bags, because I know you put together gift bags.
Oh, yeah, actually, video going up on my TikTok very shortly of I wanted to wait until after I gave it to them to post it because I didn't want any of them to see it. Um, it wasn't super crafty. Obviously, like, I lost my job this year. We were gonna do, like, a fancy Airbnb, and then we kinda, like, downgraded and, I had some help from my parents because girl couldn't didn't have funds.
Well, it was full family Christmas. Full family should participate in the
And it was
spending.
full family Christmas, and obviously people are getting on planes, people are coming all the way here, like, I think it was, like, understood that it was sort of a no gifts type thing, but I couldn't help myself. And of course, people came with gifts anyway, and nothing, crazy elaborate, but, 'cause we got married a year ago, and we really I mean, I gave, like, people who asked, the link to the photos and the passwords. They could download photos and stuff. I know my parents did. But, we really didn't, like, give full access. So what I did is I took every individual from who was coming to Christmas and found a photo with them, not just of them, but, like, for my mother-in-law, gave her one where it was, my husband and her, and it was, like, a really sweet picture. She's, like,
Cute.
squeezing his cheeks, and for the brothers, I gave them a picture of the 3 of them. For my siblings, I gave us a picture of the 3 of us. So, like, I just tried to find a picture, and then I just went to Home Goods and I found, like, some cute, like, not, like, cheesy holiday frames, but, like, gold
Oh,
and white, like, green and
yeah.
gold, and then I just bought, like, green and gold gift bags and some tissue paper, and then I got Christmas themed little note cards and I wrote them all a note, like,
That's
from my
sweet.
husband and I. So, yeah, and that was it. So it was, like, super simple, like, pretty cheap. CVS, it cost nothing to do some prints of photos. So that was it. And yeah, it was just like a nice little gift bag I put on their beds for when they got to the Airbnb, and yeah, it was nice.
I love
Just
it.
super simple.
Uh, so since you did FOMAS,
Yeah.
Fonoil, are you celebrating actual Christmas with just your hubby, or are you guys
Yeah.
gonna go a la Chinese food in a movie?
Most likely the latter. So, the beauty of this whole blended family thing and not doing it actually at Christmas is that it leaves everyone open to go and do other things. Like, my brother-in-law can now go to his fiance's house or parents if they want to. My parents can stay local and do so, like, it opens you up. For us this year, there's nowhere else we're going, so we're just gonna do the 2 of us. And listen, I'm the type of person who feels like there's not enough to celebrate in the world. So when things come like holidays and birthdays and anniversaries, I'm big on celebrating them. They don't need to be big celebrations, but I do think it's important to, like, enjoy the little things, and holidays aren't every day. So let's celebrate. I don't know exactly what we're going to do. I will either cook, some sort of, like, pasta, Italian sauce type thing, because that's how we do. Or we'll go to sushi on Christmas Eve, which
I
actually
love that.
I do with my family when we celebrate Christmas. On Christmas Eve, if they're open, which there's this place in Milford, Connecticut called Momo. Shout out Momo.
FOMO.
Um that and it's funny, like, I don't think I, like, recognize the people that, like, go there, but I think we're, like, part of, like, a crew of, like, 4 or 5 families who go there for Christmas Eve every year, to the point where last time we actually did takeout, we didn't sit in, so we picked up, like, a big tray of sushi for our Christmas
Love
Eve,
that.
and the woman was like, "Oh," she was like, "Next year, like, I'm gonna text you,
Oh,
like,
next
because
year. Oh, we're
we're
coming
not
back.
gonna," she was like, "We're not gonna, like, open it up to the public. We're just gonna, like, text, like, the people that always come and, like, invite them in." And I was like, "Looking forward to it, sis." So I
You on that VIP list at
Thank you.
Momo.
And I'm gonna
Take
have to
it.
be like, I won't be there, but I'm sure my family, who is local will still go. But yeah, so we'll probably do sushi and,
I
get in our
love that.
jammies and watch movies, and it'll be super, super chill just because we kind of had our Christmas already. But yeah, that's probably what we'll do.
I do have to say, my husband and I celebrated Thanksgiving separately this year because we
Yeah.
just we both have big families, we both have Thanksgiving traditions that we love. I will say my husband has spent the last 2 Thanksgivings with my family, and he wanted to spend it with his family. I
Yes.
said, "Thou shalt not spend a Thanksgiving not with the Dreadens." So, we did do it separately,
We love
but
you.
at the
See you
same
later.
I was like, "We do prime rib, sucks to suck and only have a turkey." Um, but I will say the weekend after Thanksgiving, I, like, came back and did, like, I fucking did
Oh.
a roast chicken, green bean casserole, I recreated my mother's greens, and, like, it was just the 2 of us, and it was really nice. And I do have to say, he was very impressed by this meal, and it was really sweet, but then for a half a second, I was like, "We eat good. Why are you impressed?" And I was like, "No." I was
Right.
like, "Nice that he, it meant a lot to him that I, like, recreated a Thanksgiving." He was very impressed with how juicy my chicken was.
When I'm talking about romance, that's the shit I'm talking about. It's not that like, because in case it's not clear, Alexis is a fantastic cook and is
Yeah, thank
always
you.
like posting and sharing recipes and things that she's doing. So she's cooking on the reg. So yeah, like he shouldn't have been surprised. But yeah, like even though you always cook, like that's not what it was. It was like you recreated this sort of like our favorites and what we're gonna have for this meal. When I'm talking about romance, like that's what I'm talking about. Like it doesn't need to be like elaborate things. Like sometimes it can just be like I went out
Yes.
of my way to like cook this meal for us so we could have this moment together. So yeah, I mean that's interesting. You're not the first person I've heard of that always does holidays apart or just does them here and there. So that's interesting. So what does that mean for Christmas then for you?
Well, luckily, I'm with a Jew, so I'm married to. So, Christmas is not an issue. It was actually really funny because the last 2 Christmases we were engaged, and so we had always gone down to, like, my parents' house in New Jersey last year and then Maryland prior because that's where we used to do Thanksgiving. That's where we used to do Thanksgiving and Christmas before my queen grandmother had to, leave the earth. But this is our first Christmas in this house married, and I
Mm,
have the emotional capacity to like actually think about the holiday. So the weekend after Thanksgiving, I said to him, I go, we're gonna go all out for Christmas this year. I was like, "Do you wanna get a real tree? Do you wanna get a fake tree?" Like, I let him like, he wanted to get a real tree, so we, like, went. I made him pick out the tree, I
cute.
let him No, I did, I wanted him to because I was like, this isn't a holiday. Like, even though he's spent the last 3 Christmases with my family,
Yeah.
like, it's kind of been, and I don't know if you guys had something similar to this, but, like, because I was always going home for Christmas, I kinda, like, always, like, half-assed Christmas here because I knew, like, I'd be going home and, like, the house would be decorated and everything.
Yes.
So, my house right now, like, looks like Santa's village. I'm actually, for anybody listening, I have a 3-foot white Santa. I'm in the market for a 3-foot black Santa, or actually, ideally, a black Mrs. Claus, because I would like to be representative of my household.
Alexis, I I have a black Santa.
Do you really?
I really do, but we have a one problem.
What?
G loves it and will not give it up for anything.
He displays it in his office. He's like fully decked in the garb, like the red velvet
Oh,
suit, and he's carrying like presents and he just thinks it's like he just loves it. And
where did you find this?
I want to say nothing special, like a Home Goods or like a Marshalls
Okay,
or
so
something like
I've
that.
been keeping my eye out, and now granted, I also live in Boston, so trying to find a black Santa in Boston, like, actually, I really want a black Mrs. Claus because I'm
Yeah,
black.
I
Now
don't have one of those.
I looked online and there are black, let me tell you, the market for black Santas, like what you were saying, swagger. Like those Santas have swagger. The black Mrs. Clauses are ashy Aunt Jemimas. And I'm like, is this what I need to go into business? Do I need to be making sassy black Mrs. Clauses?
I'm shocked there is not an online market for this.
They look like ashy Aunt Jemimas. And like, no offense, I'm going to say this, and this is how I know a white person made ashy Aunt Jemima. No respectable black woman is ashy because she's been slathering her body since she came out the womb because her mother said mama didn't raise no ashy bitch. So
And
I
certainly
don't,
not Mrs. Claus.
and certainly not
You
Mrs.
know
Claus.
Mrs. Claus isn't a kept woman with resources?
Eggnog facials get, that sounds a little suggestive. I meant literal egg.
Yeah, I got it. It's okay. Nobody's judging you here. We listen
Eggnog
and we don't
facials from the
judge.
elves.
Yeah, like, you know she's taken care of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
listen,
Well,
so
I'll keep an eye out on my local Home Goods for you.
I'm telling everybody, like, I have a friend who was like, "Wait, I have all these friends in Atlanta. I bet you they can get you a black Mrs. Claus."
Absolutely.
This isn't a
Absolutely.
drug dealer's I need.
Listen, you
Black
have to
Mrs. Love.
network. You have to use your network. I might go to Home Goods after this just to see if I can find this for you, knowing it's
I
important
need
to you.
I need you to honestly, you probably being in Texas might have an easier time finding well, I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm gonna
I
try.
see if you can.
Like, I think we're more likely to have, like, a Hispanic Santa here.
Oh! Feliz Navidad. That's happy birthday. No, that's Merry Christmas.
Yeah, but we got our Black Santa in Michigan, which was also unexpected, so you never
Any
know.
black people there?
A few?
That's why they had
Yeah,
the
you
black
gotta really look, but they're there, I promise.
but I think what's also difficult is it needs to be a 3 foot because I have a 3 foot Santa. So
Yeah,
it has to be represent I also have black
yeah.
and white carolers that I have out that my husband's like, "Are these you and I?" And I go, "Yes, they are, Big Daddy E. Yes, they are."
You've, like, had them forever, but you're like, "Sure, babe, it's you and me."
Growing up, we had white and black Santas, but we always had a black angel on top of the tree.
Do you have, like, a tree topper
I
that's,
do.
like, passed down? Like, I feel like that's always, like, the most specialist thing.
Well, so I actually, when I go home this year, I want to see if there's like some ornaments that I could take back that are like sentimental. So I do have to say, and I know a lot of people did not grow up this way. So I'm the oldest. So once my parents had me and I was like of age, I have had like the kids have had full creative control over the Christmas tree. So
Mm.
I am not a themed Christmas tree person. I'm not that person who's like 1 year it's Victorian, 1 year it's gold and white. Like I am always rainbow lights, haphazard. My Christmas tree right now has a menorah, has a lobster roll, has like we have like my Christmas tree has everything on it. And I actually let Big Daddy E pick out the, topper, and I'm gonna not make a joke, but it is a star. It's not the Star of David, but
Sure.
I think maybe he saw the star and felt called, so
Yeah.
there's a star.
Mine's a star too. I
Yeah.
think that's nice. I was actually thinking earlier because you were saying how he spent Christmas with your family the last few years, but, like, it's almost like this is the first one that he can have some ownership of,
Yes. Yeah.
and knowing that that's obviously not something he celebrated growing up, like, it's even more special. So talk to me more about, like, him being Jewish and you being Catholic, right?
Episcopalian,
Sorry,
technically.
Episcopalian.
Catholic light. We love the
So
gays.
Charlotte York of you. We've heard a little bit about him and, like, sort of the ownership of Christmas, but, like, what has it been like, what's something you've, like, loved from celebrating Hanukkah? Like, that you didn't, like, know about or, like, "Oh, I didn't expect this," like
I actually will say the holiday that I have enjoyed celebrating the most is not Hanukkah, it's Passover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think because Hanukkah and Christmas take place around the same time, like, typically,
Yeah.
that, like, to me, it's just, like, a holiday celebration.
Mhm,
Obviously, there are very big differences between Hanukkah and Christmas in terms of, like, the scripture,
mhm.
um, but in terms of, like, how I've celebrated with his family versus how I've celebrated Christmas with my family, like, it's still very much, like, big family, big fun, big meal.
Mm.
Passover has been the holiday that I think is my most favorite because I've learned a lot.
Okay.
Because you sit down and you do, like, the Seder and, like, you I'm gonna butcher everything. I don't know the book that you read out of, but it's, like, a Seder book, and, like, I learned a lot, like, going around and, like, reading that. So, I actually really like Passover, and
Oh, cool.
I don't know if that's kosher or not,
Pun intended.
pun intended.
Well, when Passover rolls around, we should talk about it and talk more about, like, how y'all celebrate. I feel like what I'm about to, like, say is so obvious that, like, I have not had, like, a ton of folks that celebrate the Jewish holidays, like, in my vicinity, so I haven't really been able to ask, but I do wonder because it's 8 days, right, of Hanukkah?
I think so. Yeah, 8 nights, 8 crazy nights.
So
Thank you, Adam
feel
Sandler.
free to roast me in the comments, like, and educate me, because I'm gonna have questions, but, like, okay, 8 days, you don't live let's say you don't live near your and I know your husband's family lives, like, generally close to you, but if you don't, like, what does that mean? Like, do you take a week plus
Oh, I have never done multiple Hanukkah nights. I've
okay,
only ever done one Hanukkah night with his family.
okay, so you're like,
I don't
you
know
pick a
what
night, that's your night, this is
Yeah.
sort of celebrating. Like, I'm just wondering, like, do folks like take a week and a half off and they go and they like
I
stay with
think
their families?
maybe I should also say he's not Orthodox.
Okay.
So, just kind of like there's Orthodox levels of like Catholicism. There's also, I mean, I think there's Orthodox levels of every religion, and they tend to be more strict. So,
Okay.
I mean, I started dating my husband when he was 33. So, it wasn't like he was going home for 8 nights,
Okay.
To my understanding, his family, when they were young, they did like the 8 nights of gifts and like
Mm.
did, I will say this. We light a candle every night of Hanukkah. Like my husband and I.
Okay. I was gonna ask.
Yes, like we
Cute.
do that, but then we only do like one
Big celebration.
celebration with his
Got it.
family. But I also think part of that may be because his family is local, like maybe if they
Right.
were further apart, or I don't know.
If you like had to travel, it'd be like, to make it worth it, you'd spend more time together. Give me like two things that like your family did or does that like maybe is unique. Like I know this isn't unique, but I'm the types of things I'm thinking about are like elf on a shelf people do. Some people go to midnight mass if you're a Christmas
Ooh.
celebrator. Like
Oh,
I,
this
I
is a
don't
good
know.
one.
Like maybe certain families do have a tradition where they see each other for a little bit every night of Hanukkah and they exchange one gift. Like I don't know. Like what's like a thing that like your family does that you don't feel like a lot of people do that's
Okay,
like special and that you love.
it's really funny. Um, I have said I hail from the great state of New Jersey.
Here,
Um,
here.
I love to say I'm culturally Italian. My dad does, like, homemade sauce on Christmas Eve. Now, all you real Italians, I know you do the 7 fishes, so don't come at
I
me.
know, I
I'm
know.
Black, and we do have scallops, but every year on Christmas Eve, for as long as I can remember, my dad makes homemade sauce and scallop well, he doesn't make well, yeah, he cooks the scallops, he doesn't go out and
Yeah,
fish for them,
yeah, probably
and
not.
we do that every New Year's Eve, every Christmas Eve.
That's lovely.
Which I think is also really funny for a Black family. Yeah, we're Italian, duh, I told you.
Yeah, we're Italian by injection. We love that.
Duh.
That's really cute.
Well, what about you? You do this okay, well, this does the sushi count, or is there, like
I guess that counts. I think what comes to mind um is for those who don't celebrate Christmas, Christmas is the day that Jesus Christ was born. So what we do on Christmas Eve is we sing happy birthday to baby Jesus.
love that. Wait, I love that.
It used to be that we would actually get a cake, and my mom had, like, a little manger with a little baby Jesus, and we would actually put the baby Jesus on top of the cake, like a little cake topper, and we'd sing happy birthday.
You tell your mom, I think I'm gonna steal that.
I don't even know where it came from, but I do think it's really cute, and, like, we're not I mean, we used to be more, involved in the church, but now I would say, like, we're really not religious, we're more of, like, a spiritual family, but that's still something that we do. And then another thing I really liked that if I had kids or if if I'm ever like celebrating Christmas with like a niece or a nephew in the future that I really want to do is my mom would do a trail of candies from our beds to the Christmas tree. So she would sneak into our room while we were sleeping, the tooth fairy, and she would do like it would usually be like the red and green chocolate kisses, and she would literally put a trail from our beds all the way down the stairs down to like the Christmas tree. Which if you have dogs,
Really
please don't
did
do
have a
that.
pet. I was gonna say
I don't know. I feel like we always had dogs growing up, so she must have like sequestered the dogs or
had
something
to have.
because she always did it somehow and the dogs lived. But I
I
think
love
that's like a cute
that.
little thing.
I will say Christmas Eve, my it was the only night that my parents kept the Christmas tree lights on all night.
That's magical.
And I will say this
So that
because
so that Santa knew where to find you.
sure. It wasn't because people were too boozed up and didn't unplug the that's what I would
Right.
love to know. How did it start? Was it because one night, like, my dad had too many, like, Maker's Marks on the rocks and, like, didn't unplug it before he
Can
went
I
up?
tell you, you're the oldest, so I don't know if you've had to endure this, but I also know you and your sister, you're not as many years apart as my siblings and I are, but what happened.
We're 5.5 years apart, so we're not as far as you
Oh,
guys
that's right.
are apart.
Okay, so maybe you did do this, but the amount of Christmas Eves that we would like host something. Like, let's say we did our sushi night Christmas Day, the Christmas Eve, we might host something, or we'd
Yeah.
be coming home from sushi. And my parents and I would be like, sloshed. But because I'm the oldest sibling, I was in charge setting up for the next morning. So that when we woke up, everything was out. Because the little kids still,
Right. No.
and even now, like, there's some magic to it where it's like, I, as the older sibling, like, I'm in charge of helping put the presents under the tree the night before. But, like, there were those years where, like, I, was getting into, like, my early 20s and, like, obviously, like, I was drinking at Christmas Eve, and it'd be, like, me and my mom stumbling around, like, the kids are asleep, and we're trying to, like, shove stuff under the Christmas tree, like,
Oh my God.
what
Well,
like, and then you think about, like, all the parents around the world that celebrate Christmas and are doing that because, obviously, you're gonna have a good time the night before, and
oh,
you're up until, God knows what hour creating the magic.
my parents would sleep for maybe 3 hours a night,
Yeah, no
Christmas Day,
doubt.
because, well, my father is now a priest, but growing up, he was not. But, like, Christmas Eve, we went to church, we were in the Christmas pageant, then my parents hosted Christmas Eve and Christmas Day because on my dad's side of the family, it's just my sister and I, so it's like you congregate around the kids. Christmas Eve night, like, I just remember, like, my mom and my dad were always up, like, super late. Uh,
Yeah.
2 things. 1, I forgot this tradition that's really fun. We have a fireplace in my parents' house. Like, it's a working, I mean, I wouldn't use it
Nice.
now, but, like, we used to use it. And my mom would always make sure that the fireplace doors were open the next morning. So it was like Santa came down.
Yeah. Was there
That
like not dust, like ash? Like, did they do
I
like
don't
footprints or anything like that?
know. Oh, 1 year my sister got real sad. Well, my sister started to not believe in Santa. So, I think one thing that's really nice about being the oldest and having significantly younger siblings is that you get to pretend in the magic a little longer.
Yeah.
It was like, even though I knew Santa wasn't real, like, we still, like, acted and pretended. I mean, Santa is
Yeah.
real. I just
We
wanna
should put
say
a disclaimer on this episode.
I think Santa is real. I stand by it. But it was not that, it wasn't, you know, we got to be pretend like, you play around with it. And 1 year, my sister didn't wanna leave out milk and cookies. So I don't know if my mom wrote the note or my mom had my father write it, but Santa left her a note saying how upset he was that he didn't have milk and cookies left out.
Serves her right. Lucky I even brought you gifts. My
Wait,
whole payment is the milk and cookies.
is the milk and cookies. I actually will also say this because I don't know if every family had this, and this might be unique to the Dreddens, and not even just the Dreddens. Like, this is my grandmother. I grew up with 2 Santas. There was mommy and daddy Santa and nanny Santa,
What?
nanny and granddad Santa. Mommy and daddy Santa didn't wrap gifts. So that Santa, the gifts were unwrapped. Nanny and granddad Santa would wrap the gifts, and they would literally say from Santa.
So you'd come down and there would be all of the gifts under the tree and some would be unwrapped, so that's you knew they came from mommy and daddy Santa. See, I've heard of, and I think my family falls into this, of there are gifts under the tree that are from mom and dad,
Well, we had those too. Don't
and then
worry.
there are gifts that are from Santa, and, like, I guess I never questioned that my mom knew which were which.
The magic.
I do have a little story. I am not ashamed to say that I believed in Santa for a little longer than I think your average child. I was a little slow. I
I did
couldn't
too.
read till I was 10. 10 was like a really
That is
big
not
age for
true.
me.
There's no way you couldn't read till you were 10.
I promise. There was something that wasn't clicking, and then one day it just clicked and I could read, and then I would read at church and do the whole thing, and I'm a huge reader now. I love it. I don't know what happened. Something stunted me, and 10 was like a really pivotal age for me. Anyway, I remember I got into a fight with a girl at school.
Are you still friends with her?
No, but
Okay.
I wish I
Say
was, 'cause
her
I think
name. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Started with a T, and I got in a fight with her because she was like, "Santa's not real." And I was like, "My mother would never lie to me. And if my mother says that Santa is real, then it's real."
Yeah.
And yeah, we got into it real bad at the cafeteria table.
At like
And then I
PS
think it was
199.
that Christmas where I was like, guys, we got to talk.
Family meeting.
T is saying this isn't real. I say she's a bullshitter. What's up?
What did your parents do in that
They
moment?
sort of just like looked down in guilt, and I knew.
Oh, you
So I
knew.
took myself out of the situation. I went to my room. I had a moment to myself. I come out like 20, 30 minutes later, and I'm like, wait a minute. Does this also mean that the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy is also not real? I'm telling you, I was slow on the uptick. And I was like, it took me like a little while and it dawned on me in that moment. And then I ran out and I was like, wait a minute, does this also mean? And I was like, I cannot believe you lied to me. I mean, it's hilarious now.
No, that's hilarious. This
At
I
the
need to
time, I was
find
like, damn, y'all did me dirty.
I need to find this video, but it is legendary in the Dredden household ever since my sister found this TikTok, I think last Christmas. And it is a sassy Black family, and I can say that because I am Black. Um, and the kid is upset because I guess he didn't get what he wanted. Him and Santa are going back and forth via notes. And no, let me tell you, Ashley, this kid was like, I'll find you and you're fat and slow. Like it was like I need to find it.
What do you mean? It was like she was like sending Santa letters in the mail?
Not in well, I think they were just notes, but like it could right. But the kid, I'm not kidding. I was crying and I don't know. Like if I was that parent, like, are you like, listen, we don't we don't body shame in this household, or do you laugh? Because literally the messages in these notes, like back and forth, they were like, you didn't hold up your end of the deal. And like the note back was like, well, you failed math. And he's like, I don't care. Like
That is so honestly, I see these like videos, and I don't know what's happened to Elf on the Shelf over the past few years, but it's blown up.
it really
Like,
has.
these parents are doing some crazy shit, but they are having so much fun doing it, the parents, like, I feel like and you said earlier, like, something like the magic of, like, children, and it's true, like, it's almost more fun when there's kids involved because you get to do that stuff, and I would totally do, like, Elf on a Shelf and all that because it looks like a blast. So, like, when you're talking about this video, I'm thinking, like, these parents are having the best
The
time
best.
corresponding with their own child as Santa. This sounds like a
Like
blast.
literally, and I do have to say there's a commercial on right now where Kevin Hart is Elf on the Shelf. And I need, I need, what is it? TCBY, Fisher House Prince, whatever those kid brands are. I, Alexis and Dredden at 33 years old, I need a Kevin Hart Elf on the Shelf. I need a toy. I need it. There is nothing funnier than little baby Kevin Hart as extra baby Elf on a Shelf Kevin Hart.
That's hilarious. I love that he can laugh at himself and embrace that because for those who don't know, Kevin Hart is a short man, the short king.
And he totally is an angry elf.
I need one too. You have 2 guaranteed purchases, and I would probably buy like 10. So, yeah, whoever's
Literally,
listening.
somebody needs to make them. Actually, or is it more of a Spencer's move? Because this is more of an adult gift. Because
Yeah, I guess it's more of like a gag.
but and they literally have him like on the commercial. I think he's like on a fan, like swinging around. Like, unfortunately, not unfortunately, we have YouTube TV, but I come from my husband likes the sports. So,
Yeah.
we still
The
catch the
m the
commercials.
most commercials I've ever watched in recent years was this past month when my dad was here visiting because he would watch, Sunday football, Monday Night Football on YouTube
Thursday
TV,
night
and I was
football.
like, What are these? These are commercials. Remember
I
these?"
Do you know what actually not to digress, but a little bit. So I am a streamer in terms of like how I like to consume TV content. And I also always pay for no commercials because my attention span is short enough. Don't need to interrupt it. My husband, to this day, loves watching Law& and Order SVU, which is on Peacock, no commercials, on USA on YouTube TV.
Huh.
And
Does he like to be productive during commercial breaks? Like, what's the point?
he's a channel flipper. I didn't even know those people still existed. He is like
It's true. It's true. Actually, when I was watching Dancing with the Stars this season, I would watch it live because it's like 2001 again, and I'm excited for live voting, like when American Idol came out. And yeah, it would almost be like the commercials would go on, and I was almost like, do I go watch something else? Well, then I don't know when it's coming back. Like, I guess I'll go on TikTok. Like, what's wrong with me that I
you
can't
remember
just
the
sit
days
through?
of, like, sprinting to the bathroom on, like, the commercial
Yeah,
break? You
yeah.
didn't wanna
This
miss,
is
like,
my
7
one
episodes.
chance.
Okay, we talked about family traditions that we love. What is a family tradition that you have that you're kind of like, "I could do without this?"
I don't know. You go first. You go first.
Oh, well, we don't do it anymore because I'm an adult, but I hated that so I was that kid that woke up at, like, 4 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day, and
Mm,
I
yeah,
really
monster.
hated I really hated that I had to wait for the house to wake up
Yeah.
to open gifts. So guess what I started to do, because I've always been a tiny terrorist? Negotiate the wake up time. And and my mom got smart. Well, she was always smart, but I was always allowed to check my stocking. She would put DVDs in the stocking, so that way I had something to entertain myself until a reasonable hour when I was allowed to wake up the
Okay.
house. This, like, wake up time, like, to this day, when we have family, like, for Christmas Eve, they're like, "What time are we waking up?" And I'm like, "10?" Like,
Right,
now as an
I don't
adult.
know, whenever you feel like it, and we'll all just wait
Well,
like
and it was
adults.
funny because my aunt and my uncle who live in Salt Lake City, who we do, like, they host Thanksgiving. I remember this is probably like 5, 6, actually, it's probably like 7 years ago at this point. They, I don't think, had spent a Thanksgiving with my sister and I as, like, adults, and
Mm.
literally Christmas Eve, they were like, "So what time is gifts?" And we were like, 10, and he was like, "Sweet, I love this."
Waiting that's why we haven't done this in a while, 'cause I was waiting for you guys to become adults.
Oh, no, literally, I'm not kidding, I would wake up at, like, 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, it and I 'cause I will say this, and I stand by this at 33 years old, I think a colorful Christmas tree, actually, I think Christmas trees in general with lights is the most beautiful sight, and, like, I used to when I would walk down the stairs in the morning, and it's actually similar to my house now, how when you walk down the stairs, you can kind of like, you're still on the stairs, but you could see, like, the
Yeah,
formal living room where we put the Christmas tree was directly across from the stairs, and
yeah.
I always thought the most beautiful, magical sight in the world is that lit up Christmas tree twinkling with all the
Yeah.
gifts underneath it.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
all my family was always like, "No, she just wanted to know what she got," and I was like, "No, I just like to look at it." Like, I
Yeah.
just like to have that moment where it's just like, I mean, I believe in magic, and I think I always will. I think I do have that, like, childlike joy, um, and I just think that, like, there's just like, even now, like, my Christmas tree lights stay on, I don't unplug it
Mm.
anymore, and I just think it's the most beautiful thing in the world.
I agree. We stopped doing this a while ago, but I guess I didn't love, like, having to, like, get dressed and go somewhere on Christmas Day. Like, we've opened up all our presents, and now we have to, like, get dressed and, like, go to auntie so and so's house, and it wasn't the going, like, being at their house, like, it was having to, like, leave all of I could take a couple things, but it was, like, leaving my toys behind, and I like now as a family, like, we just open our gifts really, really and we basically open them one at a time, which I was gonna say was something I don't like, but that's not really true. I kinda like it. Like, we all watch each other open our
We
gifts
do
and
that
kinda
too, we do
rotate,
that too.
and so
Yeah.
it takes a while,
Yes, it does.
depending on how everyone did that year. And yeah, so then to have to, like, get up, go shower, go get dressed, drive, like, it was like, "No." Now we just, like, stay in our pajamas all day and, watch the movies that we got, like, we just hang out, and I really love that, so
Love it.
Well, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. With that, we're gonna move into our Millennial Mouthfuls segment. This is where we talk about what we love, what we hate, what we're watching, what we're doing, who we're seeing, what we're eating. It's a little silly, it's a little slutty. It's just like us. It's the Millennial Mouthfuls. What do you have for us today, Alexis?
Well, I actually have a few things.
Okay.
It's two things. One, have you watched the Summer House trailer that dropped yet?
No, I'm so excited. What?
Oh my God.
I've been
Oh,
off the grid for like 5 days.
that is true. That is
I have
true.
so many
So
tabs open with what we've
the
talked about today.
the Summer House trailer dropped, and I do have to say that I do think that I am a Summer House stan. I have been watching it for literally like since it came out. I am like I, I'm very into it. I do think the last like I do think it needed a shakeup, and I'm feeling like this season, please, Bravo gods, it's feeling like it's gonna give us like what we want. So I'm gonna hold. We can move that because I want to talk about the trailer.
Okay.
Too. I just watched the first episode of Beverly Hills with our queen icon legend Rachel Zoe.
I'm so behind, but I'm
No,
I'm I'm gonna
you know,
I have some serious homework to do.
it just came out, but I will
Okay.
say this. Did you watch Rachel Zoe's original show?
Yes. Yes, I'm
Okay.
so excited.
So
And I
Re
hope she gives because I don't I'm fearing that she is going to fall into what I think the franchise has grown into, which I don't totally love, which is sort of this like super produced, super glam bot like thing. I think all the franchises are falling under that. Is Cookie okay?
Oh, yeah, he's fine. I was just waiting
Okay.
for him to he's gonna start barking, so
I was
we'll
gonna
just have
say
to
I can't
mute
hear
that
him for
now.
those watching Cookies in the
Oh, okay,
background, and
perfect.
I thought maybe he was gonna jump out the window or something. I was like, "Do you need to go get him?"
No, it's closed, but it
Um,
didn't look like that. Also, for anyone on the vid like, that's just his butthole. Like,
oh,
that's
I see.
literally
Oh, I wasn't gonna say anything because I didn't want to embarrass him, but go ahead. For anyone watching,
Hey,
I am looking
sit
directly into
down.
Cookie's asshole as we
Literally.
speak.
I'll just turn this way so it's
It
blocking
looks
out.
great though, sweetie.
Yeah, he's doing
Um, yeah, so I'm worried she's gonna like fall into this sort of like archetype, like produced, and I want Rachel Zoe show Rachel, and
no,
I hope she hasn't changed.
I
Fingers
do have to
crossed.
say only the first episode is out.
Yeah.
It is giving like, it is giving early seasons of the Zoe project. Like,
Okay.
I feel like she's being very authentic. I also have to say, if you don't know this, her and her husband, Roger, are no longer together. The
Yeah.
way that she discusses that with her one son on the show and also even with the other ladies, like, I do say she presents it very authentically in the sense that, like, she's what I actually am really excited for this season is so weird, but it's like a lot of people are in transitions in their life. So it's like Kyle and Dorit and Rachel Zoe. They all have these ex-husbands that have come out and are dating much younger women and scandalously. And the
Yeah.
way that the three of them kind of navigate and talk about that. And I really have to say, you can tell that at least with Rachel, I think because her kid, well, I think like maybe her situation is different and she also wasn't on a reality show during the time of her divorce where like Kyle and Dorit with like Mo and PK, we get more of like the, you know, IRL, like what's happening. She navigates it really well. We're like, you can tell Roger was definitely a problem, but she also respects that he's his kid, like that he's like her kid's father. But also those two boys are beautiful.
They must be like like late
11 and
teens.
14.
Oh,
11
they're
and
younger than I thought. Okay.
Yes,
All
they
right.
are younger than I thought. Well, this is what I forgot. They were together for 18 years before they had kids.
So long.
And, you know, she kinda talks about how that changed the dynamic, you know, once they had kids,
Yeah.
and that kind of actually ties into the Summer House trailer where, like, if you I know you haven't been living under a rock, there's been rumors that Kyle and Amanda, there's trouble in
Yeah.
paradise,
Yeah.
and I actually have to say this, I am actually not worried about Kyle and Amanda's relationship. I give the two of them a lot of respect because their entire relationship has been on national TV and they have never tried to act like it's perfect because relationships are hard.
That's true.
And, then you're talking about now you're opening up a relationship to public opinion, and that's gonna be even more difficult. But I digress. Going back to Rachel, Zoe, and Roger, I think they met at a she was saying, I mean, if you're together with someone for 18 years before you have kids, like, you didn't meet that person at 40.
Right.
Like, you were clearly very young and, you know, like, she says I think she kinda said, like, "He's Grateful Dead, and I'm, like, this glitz and glamour," and it's like, yeah, nobody's gonna sit here and say Rachel Zoe is slinging Bud Lights in the back of a van with a guitar, but I bet
Yeah.
you Roger might wanna do that.
I will s there's something about, like, I don't know why it's, like, getting to me where I'm just like, I knew they weren't together. I've known this. I didn't know the details of it. I guess I don't wanna say I'm excited, but I'm intrigued to hear it from her. And I'm glad they acknowledged that because I there is an acknowledgement that, yeah, I used to have this other show, and this audience likely is gonna know about that and know about,
And you
this
loved
marriage.
Roger. Well, okay, I don't think
Well,
you
that's the
loved
thing. I
Roger.
loved him, and yeah, I loved him, I loved them, I loved that, like, sort of she was this, like, powerhouse, independent woman, like, the Rachel Zoe project, I think, was, like, at a time I mean, you could argue that all of our generations have had these, like, female, like, renaissance moments where we've, like, really
100%,
come
yeah.
into, like, our own, in different capacities, but I felt like Rachel Zoe project was, like, one of those first things where you were because it was before Real Housewives, it was before you were
Yes.
seeing women sort of running their own shows, and, it's funny, this falls into another, like, mouthfuls topic we were gonna talk about, which is, like, Rachel Zoe, Bethenny Frankel, Kelly Catrone sort of all
Yes.
fall into that category for me. Slightly different times that they sort of, like, blew up, but they kind of fall into that category of, like, brash, direct,
I love it. I
no
love it.
nonsense
Strong.
powerhouse entrepreneurial businesswomen that you either love them or you hate them. But going back to the Roger of it all, I loved seeing that she sort of was this 100% authentic self and you know, there was the realistic eye roll moments and the oh god and the this and the that, but you could tell he had like an inherent respect for her business. It didn't matter if they were talking about glittery pink shoes. He had a respect for her. He would sort of bring her down to earth, but you could tell, like, he knew it was important to her and he respected that and he knew it was important for her business. And that's the business that they were in as a family now. And I'm sad that it didn't work out.
This is actually where, like, when I bring up, like, Kyle and Amanda and, like, kind of, like, the challenges that the bumps they've hit in their relationship is it's like, you know, if we're talking about somebody like Rachel Zoe and Roger, who were clearly together from a very, very long time, and this is what I think also contributed to kinda Bethenny Frankel's and her ex's, like, downfall is it's like, especially when we unfortunately still live in a patriarchy, not every man can hold down a house and, like, kinda be the number 2 when the woman is the number 1. And so in this episode of the first episode of Beverly Hills, they do flashbacks to, like, the later episodes and seasons
Mm,
of Zoe Project, and, Rachel actually said, she's like I think it was her, maybe some of the other one of the other housewives was like, "This is why you don't go work with your partner." Because it was like, he would have feedback and he would have suggestions, but at the end of the day, I have Rachel Zoe, martini coupes that I bought at HomeSense. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like, it's her name, it's her brand, like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, she is the boss.
Yeah, it was her call. Yeah, and it's tough, right? Because I don't necessarily know what it was that split them up at the end, but if that was part of it at all and sort of, like, led to, like, the dismantling of their marriage, like, that's a real bummer because it would be nice to see a woman like those 3 that I mentioned. There was a man that was man enough to be with a woman like that and, like, show the rest of us that, like, oh no, like, he is not worried about his masculinity being complicated or compromised because of who his partner is. Like, it would just be nice to see a little bit more of that. I'm trying to rack my brain if there's anyone else, like, I admire.
I mean, obviously, we don't know a lot about Alex Cooper's marriage with, her husband, Matt, who,
That's
Matt
actually a really good
is
one.
a very successful executive producer, but like Alex Cooper is like a boss ass bitch out here. And like, I don't know if you watched her 2-part documentary that came out on Hulu a
Love,
few months ago.
laughed and I cried. I laughed and then I cried
Incredible,
again. Incredible.
incredible. And it's like, I think you and I are the same in the sense that we are both very like strong, dominant,
Mhm.
like successful, brash at times, abrasive women. And it's like, all I ever wanted as a kid was to like find a person, a man that like wasn't going to be threatened by my big personality and my aggressiveness and my like dominance.
Yeah.
And maybe Rachel had always been like that, but then also maybe she blew up in a way that he didn't. And then all of a sudden that playing field got a little murky.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I have conversations like that with my husband because, we met when we were 20. I was 25. I was just 25. He was 24.
Really that long ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which I look back and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, that was so young." Like listen, had I known that I was gonna meet my person so young, I wouldn't have worried so much, about it. Like I didn't want to I wasn't looking for a marriage necessarily, but I actually didn't want to get married at all. But that's a story for another time. But I just remember like having conversations of like, "Hey, like I know I'm not like I know I don't own my own business right now. I know I don't have, a ton of money right now. I know that I am just sort of like a cog in the wheel of corporate right now. But one day I'm going to be more than that. And I need to know that like you're down for that, supportive of that, willing to put your whatever toxic masculinity was put in you because that's at no fault of your own because you grew up in a patriarchal society. Like, I need to know that, like, you're ready for that because, like, I'm going to be so much more than this one day. And, like, I'm not interested in you if you're not down for that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what people in maybe our generation, I think that's what a millennial matriarch does and
Yeah.
has been doing. I don't know that our mothers were having those conversations with their partners. Maybe they were. I mean, my mom's I know both of our moms were working women, strong, independent powerhouses. I genuinely, I'll ask mine, but I genuinely don't know if they were having those kinds of conversations in the early days of dating their
Do you know
partners. I don't know.
Do you know what's interesting though? Like, I don't know how old I was, but like, I've obviously always known that my mom was like this boss ass, woman that I've always had like a lot of respect for and looked up. Like, when
Yeah.
people say like little girls look up to their moms their whole life, like at least like that was me. Like all of my early memories of my mom or me like wanting to be her one day. And I remember I was little and I've always been like a really deep person. So like I was a really deep child. And my mom and my dad were having a conversation. I cannot tell you what it was about. But my mom has always been like this really dominant, person. But I like they were talking about something and it was like my dad to me and to my sister, and I think that if it was different, I think it's great that they didn't show it, has always had so much respect for my mother. But then also, I saw my mom lean on my dad in ways that shocked me, but like shocked me in a good way because I was like, oh my God, my mom is with somebody like my dad because my dad lets my mom be who she is,
Mhm.
but she also needs him in like XYZ way, which was something that like when I started dating and like when I, wanted to start settling down and like I met my now husband, like that was a trait that was really important to me. That
Yeah.
like I am a very dominant, loud, aggressive, in your face person. And like either you're going to roll with it or you're not, but also like, I do fully believe in, like, giving it your partner, like, at least like, a heterosexual relationship where it's, like, maybe, like, a male-female power dynamic, like, I've had to work on being softer to let my husband, like, make sure that he can, like, be the man that, like, is innately in him.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it really is, like, they're balancing acts, and, like, I think when they overcorrect is when issues happen.
That's really your point, and that's a beautiful thing about like about you describing your parents because it's it sort of showed you like, oh, you can be this type of woman, but you can also still be vulnerable and soft when it not to take the Lindsay Hubbard of it all, if you know, you know,
Right.
but you can still be soft and vulnerable and seek emotional support. And that probably makes your partner feel really good too.
I, knock on wood, hopefully will be married to my I want to have my first and only husband. I don't want to get married again. Like I have always like I similar to you, Ashley, wasn't sure if I ever wanted to get married. So like because I did get married, I'm like, this is it. And, like, this is what I was saying, like, kind of like bringing up Kyle and Amanda is like, yeah, life is going to happen. And I really hope that he and I can like grow and change and evolve together and that something doesn't happen or things don't happen where you do have to separate and you do go different ways. And like
Yeah.
you don't know. Like I can't sit here and tell you what's going to happen in 10 years.
I'm a realist, so, like, we always talk about, we say, like, "Oh, well, when my second wedding comes around, I'll do it this way."
Right.
Obviously, this is my person and this is who I plan to be together with forever, but you never know, and people change, and sometimes they change to grow together, and sometimes they grow apart, and that's life. But, yeah, I think I just wish that there were maybe some more examples in media, in pop culture of those kinds of women, like the ones I mentioned that
You just have to be the example.
right. Yeah, and I wanna be clear, it's not that I want these women like the Bethenny Frankels of the world and the Kelly Catrones and the Rachel Zoes. It's not like I need them to be with someone for me to feel comfortable as a fan. That's not it. I know that these women want that partnership and that companionship, and I think they deserve it. And I'm sure they have things to work on to make them better partners, but I think it's a sticking point for them that the partners they have had and that we've seen them with have not cut it. And it's often, because of what we were just talking about and sort of like not being able to handle that kind of woman. And yeah, I maybe we'll lead the pack, Alexis. We'll
I mean,
see.
that's been my plan.
That's the plan, baby.
I'm going to leave you all with this. Be the matriarch and the patriarch of your own life, but be respectful and like, don't be afraid of a boss ass bitch. And that being said, if you want more of our daily chaos, hot takes, and semi responsible wisdom, follow us on social. I, Alexis, am at _millennial_matriarch on literally everything. Ashley is at Millennial Mind of Ash, one word, on TikTok and Instagram. And there you're going to find us just having a jingle, having a jolly, maybe some ho ho hoing. And I am so, so, so excited that if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, yes, we are on Apple Podcasts now. So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, and YouTube. Until next time, drink some water, have some eggnog, trust your gut, and remember, you're the matriarch of your own fucking castle. Act like it. Bye.
Bye.